You might be part of the old homie.
Wow. That's what you want to do?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Malik Neighbors just dropped on Instagram Live a couple of days ago that Jayden Daniels, the projected number 3 overall pick in this year's draft, Heisman winner out of LSU, formerly coached by Antonio Pierce, Malik Neighbors, his teammate, Jayden Daniels' teammate, just said that Jayden Daniels will end up a Las Vegas Raider. Folks, we know Antonio Pierce was big into acquiring, not acquiring, but you get it, recruiting Jayden Daniels many years ago at Arizona State. And we've been speculating all offseason that Jayden Daniels could actually end up being a Las Vegas Raider. Now, here's the kicker. Recently, we've been seeing that Jayden Daniels, or the Washington Commanders at pick number 2, are like enamored by Jayden Daniels, right? And then you'll see one report saying Jayden Daniels could pull an Eli Manning, and then he'll fall to pick number 3, and that's where the Raiders could slide in and select Jayden Daniels with a trade from New England, who, quote unquote, they're not too keen on selecting a quarterback in the first round this year. Folks, put aside the compensation just for this argument, just for this hypothetical here. Put aside the compensation that you're going to have to give up an arm and a leg. By the way, folks, it wouldn't even be that bad. You'd give up this year's first. You'd give up next year's first. You'd give up probably this or next year's second round pick and, whatever. Like, it wouldn't be that bad. When you find your franchise QB, none of that matters, folks. Look at the San Francisco 49ers trading up for Trey Lance at pick number 3 a couple of years ago. He's not even on the team. And what happened to San Francisco last year? They made the playoffs. Oh, they made the Super Bowl, right? So before we get any further into tonight's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily Raiders content. Let's try and get this video to 250 likes. So I've been talking about Jayden Daniels to the Raiders all offseason, and the kicker is, can you trade up? It's not even for me with Tom Telesco and the Raiders organization. It's not even do they have the capital to do this move, because they do. They clearly do. It's more of, would Jayden Daniels even be available at pick number 3, right? But then you'll see one day that J.J. McCarthy could go number 2 to Washington. Then you'll see Drake May's favorited to go to Washington. And now we're seeing Jayden Daniels favorited to go to. Then you could also take the side like Malik Neighbors, projected top 5-ish pick in this year's draft class. Like, these are kids, they like to mess around. What do they know? I think they probably know a little bit more than most of us here. But folks, just like logistics aside, as far as, was he capping, or, is he just trying to get rumors swirling? Is he just trying to make some noise here? Or does he actually know what's going on? Folks, I want a franchise QB. And I get it. Aiden O'Connell did a very, very good job last season as the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders after being selected in the 4th round and not even being the starting quarterback until Josh McDaniels was fired. But folks, if there's one thing I've seen from Antonio Pierce, if there's one thing I've seen from Tom Telesco in their short tenures with the Las Vegas Raiders, ever since Ziegler and McDaniels got fired, it feels like there's this fire under the Raiders' ass in the management side of it. It looks like they're trying to get things done, and they're trying to make big time plays if those big plays are, opportunities. If those arise, if these types of moves arise, it seems like they are down to pull the trigger to make a trade into the top 3 to select Jayden Daniels. Now, you can say, oh, it's so risky. Trading up into the top 10, trading up into the top 5 to select a quarterback, that almost always backfires. But you can say that with everything, folks. Just straight up drafting a QB in the first round is extremely risky. There are franchises like my hometown of Chicago that are still trying to find their first ever franchise QB through the draft. And so I'd rather go big than go home. I'd rather risk it for the biscuit. When we look at the Raiders team in general, and I get it, the last LSU QB drafted to the Raiders did not work out. Whatever. You can't let fear dictate your current life, right? I just don't like it would cost too much. He's too risky. Jayden Daniels, the Heisman winner, folks, at LSU, he would be a game changer on the Raiders, and he will be a game changer to whatever team drafts him. And I got to say, the more I look into it, if Washington does end up going Drake May or JJ McCarthy at pick number 2, I don't know if the Patriots drafting Jayden Daniels in Foxborough are necessarily itching to do that. Jayden Daniels in Las Vegas, paired up with former Antonio Pierce, paired up with Jack Jones. Like, it just makes a lot of sense, right? Imagine this was Madden and you could force this trade. You'd do it every day of the week. But going back to what we were saying about San Francisco, you can pull examples left and right. I can show you so many reasons why the Raiders should make a move like this, or any team in the NFL should make a move like this. And I can show you on the other side just so many reasons why you shouldn't pull a trigger like this. But what I do know is this new regime in Las Vegas is getting it done. And it seems like they are willing to take big time risks. They took one a couple of weeks ago in Christian Wilkins. When I saw Christian Wilkins got signed by the Las Vegas Raiders, I lost my mind, and so did every Raiders fan. But as the weeks and as the days went by, it became, what is Vegas doing? You're giving all this guaranteed money to a not already established star defensive tackle in the NFL. Folks, I'm not saying Jayden Daniels to the Raiders next season would win a Super Bowl, but it would set up their future for hopefully a decade. You have Devontae Adams, a top 3 undisputed wide receiver in the National Football League. I got a great wide receiver too in Jacoby Myers. They're going to bolster the wide receiver room in the draft, but you still have Trey Tucker. You still got Michael Mayer, last year's early second-round draft pick. The defense last year under Antonio Pierce was top 10. They were one of the best defenses in the NFL when Antonio Pierce took over the reins as the interim head coach. Patrick Graham entering another season. I still got Max Crosby. I got Malcolm Kuntz, who broke out last season. I got Tyree Wilson, last year's 7th pick. I got to say, I really like the idea of trading up. And once again, hypothetical mock trades. Yeah, you're giving up this year's first, clearly, pick number 13. You're giving up next year's first. I don't think it would cost 3 first-round picks. I think you can get away with 2 firsts, maybe 2 seconds, maybe 1 second, maybe 1/3, and then you are most likely either way, no matter how many picks are involved, you are probably going to have to give up a starting caliber player. And it actually wouldn't surprise me if it was Tyree Wilson. Folks, I think this is a move that you should be open to, let alone what the value was. Once again, San Francisco, a couple years ago, drafted Trey Lance. They traded up for Trey Lance with the 3rd overall pick. They gave up, 3 first-rounders? Trey Lance is not a member of the San Francisco 49ers. He didn't play as their starting quarterback. They drafted Brock Purdy in the 7th round with the last pick in the draft. However you find your QB that's in a good way. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, and let me know your thoughts on Jayden Daniels to the Las Vegas